we're back again. You guys submitted drawings. I see. I'm bad again. I'm not good at introing. What else? What else is good intro stuff? What's good intro content? Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. In today's video, we look at your art. You guys submitted drawings on my Discord, and now I'm gonna look at them. You submit, I crit. Clayton Graham. So I do like this character. I think it's a cute character. I like the puffy jacket. I like this. I like that you have like a small, really big, and then really thin. I'm a big fan of accessories on characters. So I think I would push the jacket even more. Make it big. I also think some of these poses, you could like push the expression on. Skinnier legs? Yeah, I would definitely do skinnier legs. I want the jacket to be even bigger. And you know what? Smaller hands. So I'd probably make the legs like pretty skinny. I could still have like jean folds or whatever. And I'll have the hand like just peeking out, you know? It's a petite ass hand. And then maybe like this pocket can be exceptionally big as well. So for the hair, I might change it up so it's not like the same on both sides. So I might make it like smaller on one side and then have it bigger on one side just to not have it be uniform. I'd probably simplify the eyes and also the nose. Maybe he looks too young. Let me give him a bigger jaw. Something like that. He looks older. The low opacity mouth looks like a mustache. Yeah, there we go. See, I like pushed the jacket a bit and I simplified the face a bit. And I made the legs way skinnier, and that kind of makes him has better character identity. I think that's what I wanted to say. If you were boarding with this character, would you simplify him further as a shorthand, or is this about the level of detail you'd use? I'd simplify it like way further. Let's take this drawing for instance. So one side big, one side little. Probably do something like that for a storyboard. Let's go like seeing your shorthand process in VizDev. It's all longhand. Never heard that term before. I mean, it depends. Sometimes I'll put more detail into a thing, you know what I mean? I'll try to eliminate as much of like lines as I can. Something like that for a storyboard is probably enough. Hopefully this is helpful. I didn't really explain that much about the shorthand process, but clean up lines to be single lines instead of like multiple. So like here, instead of doing like this and then doing a fabric fold and then this and a fabric fold and all that, I would literally just like single line, single line. If you really want to go loose with it, you just give him a generic face. You mentioned earlier that your thesis film was a bare design before you knew appeal. Could you talk more about that? What makes the design appealing to you? I guess it's like very personal to the person, right? What appeal is and what... So I guess it like all depends on someone's personal taste. I'm sure someone like prefers the older one. Like maybe some person who prefers more like old school Disney prefers older ones. So I guess like my tastes have changed and that's what changes my appeal. I guess it's purely taste based, right? But I think I prefer like more simplistic. Obviously, like I prefer to watch more like anime and like French stuff now. I mean, in that sense, I will naturally like drift away from the more like Disney 90s animation stuff. Antoine Deois. Okay, we can just look at the close-up one. I think for this one, I would change the silhouette. So here, like all this stuff gets a little muddy to me. So like everything is happening like inside their bodies within this shape, and this is kind of blending into a single blob. I would change the face to be more around here so the arm doesn't get intersected with his face. And then I put the other guy's face maybe a bit higher up. Is the one on top the evil one? Maybe it can be like choking him or something. And I do like this hand coming out and grabbing his hand. I do think that's cool. And then this hand, have it like not intersect with his face. So have it like be prepared to strike. And then his wings can like go like this so they're not like... Don't judge my wings, okay? And his wings. I wouldn't even show that other leg. Let's not show the bottom. But I hope you can tell that like how much it can clean up the silhouette. Here, I'll tone it in for demonstration purposes. This isn't a design critique, so I'm not changing how you designed your griffins or any of that. Even though the silhouette is not perfect right now, it's not like still the clearest, like if it was just colored black. But I hope you can see that you can at least make out their like faces and their expressions a bit more. Versus this one where it kind of gets lost in the middle. What if it was a Dutch angle? Yeah, I think the angle could also change, but I was literally just focusing on the pose. I mean, you could like mess around with the angles, like have it be like a upshot. Thanks for submitting, Antoine. I hope this was helpful. What do you anticipate will be the biggest change in the animation industry in the coming years? Biggest change? Hopefully more projects. There's going to be more sequels for sure. I'm seeing a lot more like job postings. So I am hopeful. Oh yeah, a lot more live action, but I guess that doesn't... All right, I think go harder into the folds, Farrah. There is something nice about the like simplistic style. I think sometimes a couple folds could really elevate the drawing. This side could be a bit more simple. It's a nice drawing. And then maybe like this like flaps up instead of laying down kind of flat. I would actually like maybe make her expression a bit more shocked because it kind of looks like she's half surprised. I like this hair. I think I'd push the hair more too. Maybe the fingers could be more like spread apart. Now what's happening here? I assume this leg is wrapped around this guy's leg. I think the leg is too short. That's not bad. Going off of Farah's really nice sketch. Okay, so what I did here is I changed the expression. I tried to plus the folds. So I tried to make the folds feel more dynamic by just creating a bit more like complexity on one of the sides and keeping the other sides like pretty simple. And then I also tried to like make her expression a bit more energetic or like more clear, I guess. So right now she like kind of looks annoyed, angry, but her eye is like a little lidded. So I just made it like a bit clear that she's kind of like shocked. And then I tried to make his like shirt jacket feel a bit more dynamic. And that's all I did. The rest is all you, Farrah. Thank you for submitting. This is a really fun drawing. I could not come up with this pose, so it was cool to be able to draw this. Okay, Tica, I'm gonna look at your stuff. Yeah, I really like this drawing. What would I even change about it? Maybe make her feel more floaty. I don't know if she's falling or floating up, but I assume she's floating up, right? So I think for this one, I'd probably like play with the fabric and maybe make it feel more like she's like in free fall. Cause like, okay, I know she's falling, right? But like the hair is going like this, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna change it. I'm gonna make the hair go this way. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I do that? This is my feedback session. I can do the hair any way I want to. I mean, I do like this pose. You guys ever think that like when you do like a feedback, it's like you're not changing it, you're just doing like your own drawing of it, like it's just your own style instead of it being like actual improvements? I think about that a lot. Maybe a bit of overlap, but not too much overlap. Maybe this box could be a bit separate from what's in it. I think the difference is that you can explain why you redrew things. That's a good point. Thanks, Matcha Milk. Daniel, if you could say what is the one best piece of advice to all people who are looking for a way of getting into the industry with no connections or LinkedIn and have an average portfolio with 2 projects, very specific. I mean, you could make a LinkedIn. That might be step 1, you know what I mean? Make that LinkedIn. Make your portfolio not average. Make your portfolio amazing. Make it something that you're proud of. Because what it comes down to is having something that you're proud of, right? So I guess it starts with just fake it till you make it. Think you are awesome. You're great. Believe that. And then just start making stuff. Eventually, you'll catch up to what you think of yourself. I hope it feels more like she's falling now. Or at least more like there's more emotion in this pose. Where like you really feel like, even if she's going down slowly, you still feel like a bit of waves in the clothes, and you still feel like maybe she's a bit worried about something. I mean, these are lovely colors, but it feels like it's a bit too static. I forgot his top hat. H, I like this composition more. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna do like what I did last week. I'm gonna just focus on the composition of this. And you know what? Maybe the tones. The tones, like my eye is drawn to both here and here. Kind of this thing, and I want to be looking like right here, so I'm kind of unsure how I would do this. I do like that it's an upshot, so I would keep it as an upshot. So I would start off by laying down the grid. This creature, let's just push this to the side and let's start thumbnailing. So how you have it now is like this, where he's kind of faced away, but his head is like looking that way, which is kind of cool. I do like that. And this guy, maybe it's more the tones that I have an issue with. I think what I don't like about this composition is that his arm is mirroring this sword, and I think I'd prefer to like maybe see the guy's expression. You know, like this guy could still, maybe something like that instead, but something more like this I think will help fix this pose. I've heard some people getting to industry through non-art yeah, I mean, some people get into storyboard positions through production. So people do like jump like that. There is something cool about this pose though. So maybe if you just shift this guy a bit more to the left, or to the right, I mean, you could have like a nicer silhouette if you just move each character. Kind of Adventure Timey. Some thumbnails is fine for that. That's all that needs. Dingity Dingus. Yo, this is really nice. It's almost hard to give feedback on this. You put such an iconic character on model. It's pretty hard to even say anything because it's just like what it would look like if it was done by, you know, like Nintendo artists. I don't have much to say, you know. This looks really nice. It's really cute. Good job, Dingity Dingus. All right, let's see if I can help. I guess maybe play with the like squash and stretch of the face more. The thing is, I don't know if Nintendo does this, so you know, take this with a grain of salt, but I think you could like squash the face up. It's very on model. It's very hard to give any feedback on this, but maybe the hair could be flowing in a certain way. Maybe it could be like in movement. This is the only way I could think to help you. Hi Daniel, nice catching your stream. I'm starting an any program soon unless you specialize eventually. Is there a certain stream that would have more job opportunities? 2D versus story versus 3D. Not 2D. Do not go 2D. You will not find a job. As much as I love 2D animation, I get sent in and the first thing I hear is you will not find a job. No, you will find a job. That's not what I'm saying. This person specifically on my YouTube chat asked about 2D animation versus 3D animation. Jobs are plentiful if you don't do 2D hand-drawn animation. Is 2D animation cooked? Yeah, it is. It sadly is pretty cooked. But 3D, okay, there's very limited jobs, but if you are in like Korea or like Japan, then maybe, you know? Or if you're like the like 3 American animators, which positions do you think are better right now? I remember someone once said that rigging and lighting and VFX were among the most stable jobs. That was a while ago. See, I don't know that much about the further thing, right? I know rigging is pretty good, 3D rigging at least. Lighting is pretty good. CFX is pretty good. VFX, they always need work, you know what I mean? There's always like 40 Marvel movies coming out. If I can put my 2 cents in for animation, 3D is the best one. Yeah, I mean, there's way more 3D jobs, right? 2D is good if you want to work for VTubers. I never thought about making art for VTubers, but I guess that is a pretty good point. And there are a lot of VTubers. I was going through the art section like a couple days ago, and it was like a lot of VTubers. More than I thought. People make pretty good money with VGen right now, with live 2D rigging and animations. Oh, interesting. I've never thought about that. In my mind, I'm like, well, if they're not making animated shows for like Cartoon Network, then what is there? But there's a lot of stuff now. Also, indie animation is huge right now. I don't watch it, but Has Been Hotel is like a pretty big show that's 2D. The thing is, I don't know if they animate it in America. Depends on the artist circle for a lot of mature themed artists. Oh, I see. I'm a very wholesome artist. I do family friendly content. You know what? If it comes down to it, I'll do not safe for work animations, you know? If it got desperate, and if I had to, be careful going down the dark side. It may seem easier, but it's a lot of work. Yeah, I mean, I probably won't, but if it ever comes down to it. Yeah, just keep making portfolio pieces. That's all it really comes down to. And eventually the timing will... You have to be prepared for when the timing works out. Reverie. Well, this art reminds me of Has Been Hotel type art. This is like a very big departure for me, but I'll do it. I don't back away from a challenge. Also, if you haven't noticed, I don't do color. I just don't get colors. Vizzy Pop like? Yeah, exactly, Napkin Lover. I mean, it's a cool character. I don't really know how to draw this style, so I'll just make it my style. I like these kind of eye shape. I think that's cool. I usually don't do like the over eye thing, so I think I'll just take that away. Since you clearly have like a very strong image of what you like, then maybe make the mouth a little bit bigger so the expression is more visible. I like these swirls. Probably make the cheeks and the neck a little larger. I like these ears. So I'm basically remaking it for like more Western animation, I guess. Maybe not Western, but like animation that I absorb is the right word. So I'd probably make it like less detailed. Damn, this wolf girl is so snatched. Yeah, there's so much detail in this character. I don't know if this person's is gonna animate this character or what, but I do like how pushed these proportions are. I also like clothing folds, so I'd probably like add a little bit of like indents here for the clothing, just because that's what I personally like. But I know this character like feels more shape based. And this hand, I'll probably like add some claws or something, just because I think that's cool. And they're holding this like gemstone thing. I really like how this person painted it. It's pretty cool. Do you know who this reminds me of? That captain from Treasure Planet. Forget her name, but... And then this little like fold thing, I'd probably push more. I love her mother. Yeah, the cat lady. Captain Amelia. Yes. So here, I'd probably add like a little bit more dog-like. These are boots? Wait, I thought these were... You know what? I'm gonna make this feet. I'm gonna make this like cat feet. Or wait, fox? What is this thing? And then this tail, I think I'm gonna make it less puffy. This is the only one where I've had to like unpush stuff. I've had to like bring stuff back. Does that work? Hey, not bad. So clearly, I don't draw in this style. It's not exactly my sensibilities, but I did try to make it more like kind of, I want to say like generic 2D animation. So I wanted to like make it more feasible for like, let's say a 3D project to use this. So making the neck bigger, figuring out the cloth more, changing up a bit of the clothing, simplifying it, making the proportions a little bit more like in line with like a model, let's say. I made it more in line with like Western CG design sense. This was really fun to draw, Reverie. Thank you for your submission. Let's do one more. Ash. It's a pretty nice pen drawing. I mean, this looks great. It's like very structurally sound. I would say, I guess for like your line work specifically, I would say try to be like wary of doing too many lines like overlapping. I can see that when you're like doing the pen, like going over it a lot, which actually like I don't super mind, but if you did want to like start getting more efficient with your like lines, I would start going like very economical. Try doing it in as few lines lines as possible. I mean, you did this in pen. This is really impressive. But honestly, I don't have much to say. I think you kind of killed the style. Maybe you can make the tail a little bit longer just to make it feel a bit more proportional, like that. Maybe like push the tail out a bit more. It's an insecurity thing. Yeah, I mean, this happens to all of us. We all go through our own art journeys. I mean, I used to like, when I would draw, I would go like over and over, and each line would be so like, it wasn't like choppy like this, but it was so like, ugh. Takes me forever to get anything done, and that was so annoying. It was so annoying existing like that, you know what I mean? And then I started drawing with pen, and pen changed the game, you know, because you can't really do that. You know what? Not even pen, like Sharpie. Sharpie kind of changed the game. Do you have any tips for sketching cleaner? Yeah, use Sharpie and Cafe Sketch and Life Draw with Sharpie. Is there any online courses you recommend for complete beginners for storyboarding? Trey Biangiorno has a really good course. I've done some portfolio reviews for him. I don't think it's virtual, but it might be. But he's really good. He's awesome. Am I supposed to do the storyboarding before or after the script? You typically storyboard after the script, because script is the easiest thing to just quickly, but again, it'll be like a back and forth. Did you study other artists' shorthands? Yeah, for sure. When you get on a project, like, you kind of have to take someone's shorthand, right? Any tips for studying in Maddie so you don't have to constantly reference when boarding? Okay, so in second year of Sheridan, they made us study every single muscle and draw it from multiple angles. Then they made us memorize like the names of all the muscles, and then we had to do a muscle test. So we had to like do 3 drawings of like a crochet in like 3 different angles, and it had to be like all the muscles, and it had to be from like one from the front, one from behind. I forget how to do it now, something like that. And then one from the side. That was like all of life drawing second year, and that was fucking brutal, but it really helps. Going through that like kind of hell of life drawing really helped, because in first year they made us do skeletons, so we had to do like skeleton drawings from like each angle. That one I don't really remember. It was just basically like forced repetition, right? Do you need to know the muscles and specifics for storyboarding? Not really. I mean, a lot of people don't know the muscles. It's kind of fine. How do you make sure your creative juices keep flowing when boarding? I know drawing can drain a lot of the ideas, especially in the visualization stage. Honestly, it is kind of tiring. Boarding is like kind of exhausting. You just have to kind of just be tired, I guess. It's hard to say. Well, usually there's like phases, you know? Sometimes you like are cleaning up a lot and it's not as creatively draining, and sometimes you're like brainstorming and that's really creatively draining, but there's like a give and take, so it's not constant. Thank you guys so much for watching and for joining. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for submitting your work. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.